Satish Kumar, Deputy Director, NASCOM, Mr. Alok Gupta, the CEO of Talent Acquisition, Mr. Vishwanath Raju, CHRO, Chief Talent Officer of Talent Bradstreet, Sri Venkatesh Balakatla, CEO of Perpetual Solutions, Sri G. Venu, is Chief Principal Scientist from National Aerospace Laboratories. So, and our beloved Haraprasad Pandagar, the President of Chemistry Services. Thanks a lot for the warm welcome, sir. So it's an auspicious day today to have you all in the assembly to listen to all the HR heads and the talent acquisition heads about the latest trends, best practices, about the best strategies in the also on the latest issues like work from home, or the effects of recession or more lighting. Similarly, the role of artificial intelligence in talent acquisition, or the machine learning, or the metaverse in talent acquisition. So today we are going to listen from experts on various aspects. So before which, I just wanted to welcome you all on behalf of IKON, International Knowledge and Opportunities Network. This we started in 2017 as an NGO or a society. So basically with a few objectives. So you must have gone through some objectives there. So we mostly concentrated on skill development initiatives for the first 2-3 years. So we also started working on awards and rewards since 2018. Till now, we must have felicitated around some 1,000+ exemplary people across various walks of life through IKON Achieve Awards. So, and similarly, we also started working closely with various startup hubs, especially AP Innovation Society in Andhra Pradesh, with T-Hub in Hyderabad, TITA, Telangana IT Association, and a few more associations. We are actually working very stringently on developing the ecosystem, hand-holding the startups, helping them how to crack the market through go-to-market strategies, as well as how to sell their products. Though they are very good at technology, few of them need more guidance. Okay, so they don't know how to apply for patents or IPs. So we started helping them. So in 2017, we started conducting a lot of talent acquisition, a lot of knowledge sessions. So we conducted one talent acquisition conclave earlier, where around 150 HR heads were participating. Similarly, when GST has come into force, we were the first people to conduct a 3-day session, awareness session on GST at FAPSI Red Hills. Similarly, we have conducted a wonderful session called Leadership Conclave at Trident, Hyderabad. And we also have conducted a program called Interview Crackathon, wherein we took again the support of around 100 HR heads within 30 cities. And we could have actually gone to almost 200+ universities and engineering colleges or these schools and started training students on how to crack interviews. That's the concept. Similarly, we also conducted a program called Got Your Pitch Right at Symbiosis, wherein we have invited 30+ startups in back in 2018. And we have asked them to pitch before some investors who has come from Israel and US. And there are few successful startups who are still running, okay, who got some good funding through the program. So this is how we been started the journey. Initially, we were 6 to 7 people who started. Myself, Christian Talori, I'm the founder and president of IKON. I have Rakshan Kasi, the General Secretary. We have Sridhar Ramella, the co-founder, along with Srinivas Rakoju, the treasurer. And right now we have extended team Prasanna Lakshmi Garu, she is also the director here. She takes care of events. We have PRK Nagaraj Garu who joined us. So we have Kundara Nagaraj Garu, the IT professional. He has joined us. And we have a lot of people who are joining the core board now. And we are so lucky that we have eminent people from the industry, especially from the corporate education, as well as from the academia and the bureaucrats who are being a part of the IKON team. So we have Shri K. Krishna Prasad, T. Krishna Prasad, who is a IPS, retired TGP, and who was also a chairman for road safety, Telangana. We have S.S. Prasad Rao, the professor for MBU University now. We have Professor Anishri Ramchandran. We have Professor B. Ramesh from University of Goa. And we have a lot of CEOs, especially Har Prasad Panda, the president of Capstone. So these guys are all advisors on board. We have few bureaucrats like Lakshmi Kantam IAS, M. Gopalakrishna IAS, even Jayesh Ranjan sir. So we have a lot of these supporters and advisors who will be guiding us in formulating or working on some strategies to build IKON to this level, to the next level. So with all your support, we would like to take IKON to newer heights. So thanks a lot for coming to this KL University Presents Talent Acquisition Conclave 2022 on December 16th at T-Hub as a venue. I also need to express my sincere gratitude to all our support and partners, and especially our talent acquisition heads who has come to address this conclave today. So before we start the program, I would request Dr. Satish Kumar, the Deputy Director of NASSCOM, who is present here, to address the audience and give a message from there. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
I'd like to highlight a couple of things. I think we all have been hearing about the recession, about the slowdown and all. But as an industry body from NASSCOM, though we have been working on a lot of problems in addressing the talent, skill development is one area where we keenly focus. In fact, IKON is also working on skill development. So we have been closely working with some of the partners on the skill development front, especially on the future technologies. So we have collaborated with MITI, Ministry of Information and Technology, which is central government. We have developed a platform in MITI, CTAC and IIT combinedly, where MITI has invested close to 400 and 500 crores in developing the platform with an objective in helping bridge the gap, especially on digital skills, right? So we have identified there are 10 technologies which are going to impact every industry and every sector. It's not just the IT sector, be it in healthcare, be it in retail, be it in banking. How do we build for a country and sustain the competitive advantage for India as the digital hub for the world? That's the bigger challenge which we are trying to address, be it IKON, be it TITA, be it NASSCOM, or any association or any industry body. The huge, it's a two-way kind of a problem. We can also build this as a competitive advantage, or we can that can also become a disadvantage if we don't upskill the existing workforce or the fresh coming talents on these digital technologies. So these skill sets is where we are trying to take it across to a lot of existing companies, be it in IT organization, non-IT sector, especially in healthcare, in telecom and banking as well, which are moved mostly into digital. And also the universities and academic institutions across the country to include a lot of these digital technologies as part of the curriculums which builds the skills on digital technologies. All right. So this is where we are trying to build the pipeline, and we currently have been partnering across with one of the partners who works with IKON. Now, some of the skill sets probably which the speakers would be talking about, the usage of AI or ML, which is being used mostly in talent acquisitions today. In detail, probably they would be highlighting what are those technologies which they are using, how is it making their jobs easy. But from the other side, probably the supply side is where we want to emphasize, because awareness is one thing, the second is also adoption and implementation of the required skill sets. From the academia perspective, it's very critical and important. So we suggest mostly to bring up those particular new age skill sets into the curriculums, which makes more easy for the IT industry or for any sector. No, the skills has become the norm today. Gone are the days probably we have a qualification, a degree or a PG, and then we address that. So now it's important that everyone is giving emphasis to skill sets. So that's where the standards are being developed. I think the skill standards are becoming a norm for every industry and organizations to pick it up and then skill the right talent to that requirements. So I'd like to thank mostly probably in detail, since we have a follow-up sessions on each of those topics, we will get to hear in detail on the usage of those technologies, especially from the talent acquisition perspective, how are they trying to address using of those technologies. With this, I would like to conclude and then pass on to the next speaker, and wish you all the best for the subsequent sessions. Thank you.
We would request you to come on to the stage and please take a small memento from IKON. Principal Scientist with the National Aerospace Laboratories, Mr. G. Venu Garu, to please come on to the stage and address the audience for a few minutes.
These days, I'm just venturing into my time for the research in novel technologies for HR management. So before proceeding further, let me introduce myself with my background. I'm a mechanical engineering graduate with expertise and master's in aerospace technology, PhD in research and PhD in management. So when it comes to talent acquisition, how critical it is for a company. So here, I would like to introduce different technologies that is going to be future technology for all of us, that is metaverse, which is going to be way behind, which will pull us way behind to our mythology. You can say, this is not going to be a new concept when we project our mythology. Like we heard, right? Vishwamitra is having the capacity to create alternative world, Srishti Prati Srishti. Wonderful topic about metaverse. As I said, it will take us to different kind of journey. So before we start up our journey, let us see the roadmap of our journey. So in this roadmap for the next 5 minutes, what are we going to learn? Because this is not going to be a technical session for us. So it's my interest to introduce you the new technology, because, as the gentleman already mentioned, the new technologies are needed, and again the adaptability and the culture kind of things. So how we can get into that? We will see all these things in next 5 minutes. So what exactly is the metaverse is? If you Google it, again you will get meta means beyond, verse means the universe. So it's behind, beyond our universe. But what I can say is, it's not just beyond the universe. It's actually, I can say, it's alternative universe that we are creating. Okay, how we will do that? By using the technology. But on what basis this is built? Now we are hearing keywords like blockchains, Web3, different technologies, right? So this is using all the technologies and it is being built. Now we will talk about AI in HR and some VR technologies, how they are changing our life and how they are impacting our day-to-day lives. But metaverse is going to be a constellation of all these technologies, which is assembling and giving us new platform for us to progress further. How that is, you can see. It is having different elements. You can see metaverse is not restricted to only talent acquisition or HR management kind of thing. It can be used for any other purpose. I can say latest news, Bangalore airport, okay, first in the country, which has become metaverse compatible. You can log in blr.com, which will take you to the virtual tour. You can feel the thing. But the thing is, what is this metaverse? How it works? Okay. So if you see, it's working, right? How it is happening? So that kind of experience will be having in metaverse. So you may question me, actually. You may question me. We are also doing the same thing. But what just now you are witness is the movement of my hand. There is nothing more. Earlier we heard HMI, human machine interface. Yeah, everybody knows. But this is PCI, brain computer interface. So for this one, yes, you need some gadgets, which again we may have to upgrade them, make it more compatible to human being than become like a burden to people. Yes, such kind of techniques are needed, but still, this is the brain computer interface. But before going to that, as you mentioned, one has to be ready for learning the things. Here actually I was discussing with Mr. So there was a, what do you call it? If we feel we know everything, then that's the end of learning the things. Here I will add one narration. In olden days, one king sent his prince to a guru to learn education, and the young boy reached to the guru and he said, "Hey guru, come on, I'm from so-and-so kingdom, I came here, my father sent me to you to learn the things, and I'm expert in arts, archery, and so on." So he just went on. That wise guru, he said, "Child, would you please get a pot of water and a bowl to me, and keep pouring the water until I say stop." And that guy was pouring the water, and it's still what happens? It will be full of water, right? But the guru did not say stop. And the water is overflowing. Some days, this young boy got annoyed, and at last he broke and he asked, "Guru, you are not saying stop. What is this? Water is overflowing. It's being wasted." Then Guru said, "This is what the condition of your mind. You think you know everything. That's how knowledge cannot flow to your mind. The moment you empty your cup, that's your brain, that you don't know, then only knowledge flows from high level to low level. The way the cup is full, your brain also full, that you think you are full of knowledge." So this is actually the readiness of knowing the things. So before we adapt, incorporate any new technology, first thing is we should be ready to accept the new techniques are available for us to learn new things. So this is HR Trends 2023 because the trends keep changing. 2022 was there, 2023 has come, again 2024 will come, but how are we ready with the new technologies for upskilling our employees? So what is one of the advantage in metaverse is talent acquisition. If you see one-to-one interviews can be done. Here, what is happening is the interview on, when you want to call interview, right? So interviewer and interviewee, they need not be at one place. Okay? Something we call avatars. Okay? What we can do is we can create our avatars, and those avatars will be presenting next to you in 3D model, where you can feel the way I show you, the movement of my hand can be felt. So there, one-to-one, you can have that kind of interaction. Virtually, you will feel the guy next to you. That kind of fine. Even this is having the features of even job face also you can do, not that one-to-one interviews. So now see, metaverse has a gamification. When it comes to retaining the trained employees, how much that is important. We talk about firing people. I don't want underperforming employees. But as a CEO or owner of the company, why do you fire a guy who was trained by you for so long period? Isn't it? So here comes the upskilling of guys and motivating the people. So that is possible with the gamification, and metaverse is doing that. Here also actually I would like to tell you, this actually I will be giving when I interact with youngsters, students. I will say, in skilling, if you separate, yes, what happens? It is going to be killing. So we have to create such kind of awareness among employees. We have to tell them whether it is upskilling, reskilling, even unskilling. We have to make them understand. And what is exactly the gamification? If you see, it's not just simple one game. Now you might have already played some kind of games, right? It might have given you some kind of energy, rejuvenation, right? So how did you feel that? So it is engaging people, and you learn some knowledge. You got it. NFTs, metaverse, what exactly? We got some knowledge. So that's what this gamification does, and it gives empathy, team building, the culture, which is utmost important in an organization. All those things we can do that, but this gamification, if you see the techniques, it's not one technique that can be applied for all the organizations. We have to customize each game suitable to the need of the organization. That's how this will be effective in retaining the talent, acquiring, even acquisition. When you talk about new talent acquisition, you can use the gamification, and that's how you will improve the productivity. Because HR guys are not just HR for human resourcing, because they are actually business promoters with the upskilling of talent, what they have. These are different cases. I'm not going through that because of limited time. But if you see the survey, there are a lot of advantages people are given the feedback. And when I've gone through my own survey, as you mentioned, awareness of the technologies. This is actually very apt that you brought the point here. People are not aware of this one because it has to mature in this country in a better way. Yes, there are some companies, as I just skip some slides, there are companies which are venturing into that, investing into that, but here, yes, it has to mature in a better way. And as every technology has its own pros and cons, yes, this technology also having, because see, some of the CEOs concerned was moonlighting. Okay, they say that employees just they log in, but the thing is they spend their time for some other purposes, and that's where there was a concern. So here metaverse can watch the people, they engage the people, but the thing is what is happening is their privacy is being impacted. That is one of the concern with such technologies. So ultimately what I can say is that metaverse is going to happen in a much more broader way, not only for talent acquisition, in many other fields. Only thing is we should say yes for this skilling because it is going to come for our betterment only. So I wish all the best for the all talent acquisition guys. In metaverse, we are going to see a lot more fun and success. Thank you so much.
CHRO and CEO of Opportunity Solutions to come onto the stage and felicitate G. Venu with a small memento. For the first panel discussion. Okay, so Devi Prashad Dash, I request you to hold on for a few minutes after this panel discussion. We'll have a wonderful session by the CHRO of Apollo Health and Lifestyle, Sri Devi Prashad Dash, who is giving a wonderful session on growth mindset. So before which I request I request you to hold for 2 minutes, okay, by the time we will arrange for the panel discussion. Before which, I request Vishwanath Raju to speak for a few minutes about the context of the complete event today, along with the panel. He is actually moderating on panel discussion. He's the Chief Talent Officer for Dun & Bradstreet. Also, he also started mentoring the other couple of panel discussions that we have further. Okay, thanks a lot, Vishwanath Raju, for being here. So, a few words from you.
I'm audible. So we all know metaverse is there and there's a lot coming up, but we didn't expect that it's coming as fast as it is. So I think that is something that we need to look at. So I just got reminded by one of my colleagues' input. It just happened a week back. So we were talking and then I asked him, hey, what are you learning these days? He said, I want to learn so many things, but our organization doesn't allow us to do a lot of innovation. So according to you, is he at the fault? The question is very simple. When I asked him, what are you learning these days? One of the mentors, and then he said that, mentees basically. So he said that I'm not getting any opportunity to implement what I'm learning today. So is it this issue? Yes, no? So how many of you believe that you are here for the industry and not the company that you are in? How many of you believe that? Right? So what does it mean? Irrespective whether your organization implements those so-called metaverse, gamification, sorry, I'm just stealing a lot of input from you, Venu, AI, ML, all of that. But it's always important for you to understand what is happening in the industry because you are here for the industry, not for the company that you are in. Right? How many of you have interacted with chatbots? Very few? I don't agree. All of you, I'm telling you without knowing your name and all that, I know everyone has interacted with chatbots. You would have interacted with Swiggy chatbot, right? Absolutely. So, chatbots are here. What else? Have you heard this terminology called NLP? Natural Language Processing? How many of you know about it? So, How many of you are recruiting leaders here? Can you raise your hands? Okay. Sir, how many times you got a job description from your leader which is 2-line JD? Right? Every time? So what if I say that this interesting algorithm which gets incubated to your system, if you just add your job description to that algorithm, it will make the JD as best as it is, like even Prime Minister wants to apply to the role. There are these kind of systems available today. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about nothing but text to you. You can just Google about it. It's a wonderful tool. You feed in this two-line JD, it will beautify the JD in such a way that everyone would like to apply. How many of you have heard about cognitive computing? Right? So next time when you're using it, what if the system says that last time same kind of thing that you have done has yielded in result like this, and by just adding this additional filter in your search, you can get better results. Right? How many of you have seen recommendation algorithms in your life? Amazon's recommendation algorithms, right? Did you see that in your talent acquisition philosophy? Right? So just imagine, right? Somebody applies to a role. Just before applying, the system says that you are applying for this role, but according to the system, your job description and then your resume, this is the better job that you should be applying. That is recommending the jobs. So there are many more examples like this. So I will now invite my co-panelists. I'll just invite them here. So the topic is disruption in TA. Is it an interesting topic? Disruption in TA? Yes, no? Very good. Okay. Just allow me. Do we have Sandhya here? Come. Sandhya represents entity. She is head of India Talent, my colleague, my friend, and I have learned a lot from her. I will actually learn today also from her. Thank you. Do we have Suresh here? Mr. Suresh, I would say he was my first mentor, and he represents the global talent for a company called Critical River. So maybe we'll just hold on, and then maybe you've been writing a lot on AI, and I've seen and I like one of the articles that you've written. So can you talk about your experience in use of AI, especially machine learning algorithms in the recruiting space? Thank you.
Thank you so much. My name is Dr. Anand Reddy. I work with the Petro Drugs. Thanks for the IKON for inviting me for this particular session. So maybe, there's a lot we are hearing in these days about what exactly AI and how it is helping the talent acquisition. So in fact, last decade, this has been catching up, and the way it is growing is something tremendous. So maybe I would also give you some information, because as you rightly said, I keep doing a lot of research. I would like to quote certain statistics in terms of why this is catching up. I was reading through one of the report from KPMG, which says very clearly, they have done a survey with 1,200 HR professionals, out of which from 64 countries, which says, and in this 39% of the managers from this 1,200, they're just eagerly waiting for this kind of technology to happen. So that's one research which I found that was very interesting. And the other thing, what I found, I was just reading the latest article which says, from Boston, it says very clearly, 63% of the American companies are ready to invest. Either they are investing or ready to invest. So when these people are doing so much and eager to invest in the technology, and I'm sure there is a buzz which is happening. So this is what the research which says, why we should not cling or get used to the technology. Because I think rightly you have mentioned, as also the previous speaker also has mentioned, it is giving us the benefits. Because you said, one of the examples in your introduction, you said, most of our bosses give us two lines or three-liner JDs. But when we use this mission, you get a complete, exactly the JD that you wanted, and that's where you can match to the profile that is required. So that's one element. So maybe to also give you another, I would like to give you an example because you have asked for it. In fact, in our own company, being in pharma, we are also using this. Believe me, when we started 1 year ago, we wanted to try it out, where we were sourcing 6 to 7 profiles in a span of 3 hours to 4 hours. When we used this mission, we were able to source within 5 minutes more than 10 profiles. So that's a kind of saving that we have, and this is an example from our own company. So this is also one of the examples, though we are doing quite a lot. Thank you.
I'm very happy, but you did not, maybe you use
Absolutely. That's why we started expanding one segment by another segment, and in fact, we'll give a chance to the other people because I wanted to share even for onboarding we are using now.
Yeah,
But however, I'll give a chance to the others.
Come there, I like that World Economic Forum report that you mentioned. Thank you very much for that. So RPA, right? Kiran, I think every third page that at least we talk about in technology world, they talk about RPA, starts from robotic process to chatbots and all that. And I heard about a company where said that entire recruiting process is actually automated. There is no human into this. So we will not get there whether human beings are more powerful than science and technology. That's not the direction that we are getting into. But Kiran, I would want to understand, is there a use case that you saw in RPA from a kind of thing in technology in terms of recruiting? Thank you.
So thank you. And I think I completely resonate with your ideas on AI. And having said that, RPA, if you were to ask me today, honestly, it's a thing of the past. RPA is very, very, structured data. You analyze that data, you automate that data, whatever that you're doing, a repetitive task, that is what an RPA does for you. These days, it is IPA, which is Intelligent Process Automation. And intelligent process automation is amalgamation of 3 process automations. One is RPA, which is the data side of it. Then it is the digital process automation, which is the process side of it. And then there is AI. All 3 put together actually become an intelligent process automation. And this is what is now being getting used around the world. And this is what is the new coming up thing. And having said that, IPA can actually help people to tap into that 70% of the passive pool that we have. Because not everybody is looking out for jobs, and even if they are looking out, they do not really go and update their LinkedIn profiles or anything, but they are those passive people who are, if you reach out to them, yes, they might be interested in your organization. So IPA actually helps you tap those through the hidden talent pool. Other thing that IPA also helps is gets you to the best fit. So while you might think, the analysis that is being done right now is specifically on the keywords, but it can actually, go ahead further if you use AI along with it and machine learning along with it. You could actually choose the candidate, which is the best fit for you. You could read the resumes, the tools, the robots can actually go back and analyze. Wow. They can analyze on behaviors, they can analyze on values. And IPA robots can actually, scroll and screen through. There are spiders which can actually go through your social profiles as well, which are there very much in public, right? Third thing which is very important is from an overall assessment of a candidate, it can be easily, there are proctoring tools that are available. A lot of agencies that are already doing and using AI to do proctoring, they use the natural linguistic processing, the NLP, to ensure that they are able to not only look at the eye movements, they are able to look at the body posture and the body movements as well, and then come to a conclusion that what kind of a person or will this person really fit me or not fit me. So there is lot that is happening in this place, and it's a very, very exciting place to be in. And I know my next speaker will have to talk about metaverse. And all of this put together, we have AI, we got IPA, we got metaverse eventually. all of this put together, will put recruitment at a definitely different platform, and it will cause disruption in team.
Super, thank you very much. I like the thing that you mentioned, IPA, which sounds more interesting than RPA. Thank you very much for that. I learned today something. So let's go to Sandhya, right? So recent Gartner report said that the new generation HR model is nothing to do with just understanding and trying to do, but also prescribing to the business groups. And then that's a word itself talks about doing a lot. So I would want to understand from you to understand the data part of it. What is the data currently? What kind of prescription that you are doing, and how is it helping your current operation? Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Sandhya Anupindi. I represent Entity Data Business Solutions. Thank you, Vishal, for that. I think, while we talked about data, it's all about how effectively we use the data. And there are three different facets to it: descriptive, and being predictive, and also prescriptive. And how effectively we use this data and derive analytics out of it and make use of it for our use is what we have to think about, because we actually are sitting on a huge data mine. We do. And if I can tell you how right now quite a few companies have already started using this, and I'll give you a little preamble to descriptive where we use these data to analyze it, to get some understanding, draw some understandable meaning from that, while descriptive is is about what has happened. Predictive is thinking about the future and what do we do with that. We have a lot of details about the employees that work with us, their details, their personal information, their background, their performance details, and by this we can actually analyze what are the traits that are used for us and what would be best fit for our organization and they can be successful.
Wow.
How can this, so I can give you an example. According to Economic Times, Credit Suisse has actually done that. They've done a survey and they've derived about 10 to 11 characteristics in their employees, where they could actually analyze their data, and they came up that who will be the employees who will actually leave the company in the next 1 year. They could analyze that, and they were able to actually contain their attrition by 50%.
Wow.
The same thing had been done, also been implemented by Walmart and also Microsoft. So while I say this, we could use this for attrition. How is that we are going to use it in talent acquisition? Yes, of course, it's possible for us. Because while we look at what are the traits that are useful for our organization, the similar can be used while we are identifying the right talent for the organization. Is this trait? And of course, to a certain extent, we are doing this in our organization while we interview them on their critical behaviors, not just the technical skills alone, and also look at the traits that are suitable for to be a cultural fit. We are currently doing that. The recruiters are being trained on that. And we also run a program called Panel Enablement Program, where we run it on a periodic basis, talking to them what are the do's and don'ts, what are the traits that they should be looking for a cultural fitment perspective.
Thank you very much. I think you quoted some interesting example. Credit Suisse is one of the favorites of mine. So Suresh, I know that Venu had spoiled a lot of enthusiasm, but metaverse, right? We can understand, right? A person like Zuckerberg says that my company's name is Metaverse, Meta. So that is the kind of preamble which is coming up, and it's very, very serious business. So do you see a good use case of recruiting in Metaverse? And that's the question. Thank you.
Vishwa. And Venu has already given the clarity on what Metaverse and how it is affecting the talent action. And the way we are going now from the traditional to a digitalized way of working out in terms of talent acquisition, the way we saw when I was with TCS. So the way we have seen getting the profiles and putting it everything and preparing for interviews and all this. Now we have a lot of ATS tools that we are working out, and we are going in technology. The way the metaverse is going around, slowly we are going to the next level of digitalization. It is not on the simple way of working out. Recently Samsung has conducted some kind of 1,500 interviews in a single day by using this metaverse. So the way they have used it, even the gamification in terms of. So it is not morely on a periodical way. It is on a gamification, like the person who is taking the test is also like he's enjoying the test what he is taking. So that's why we are moving it in a different. Even my kids are also asking what is the difference between while you're talking about the metaverse. So metaverse is a vast subject. So gamification. Then they are talking about talent acquisition means it's more of a game. I said yes. Now the things are changing out. It is not on the traditional way again. So we have a lot of things are moving out in talent acquisition. I won't say it's only stopping there in the talent acquisition. We are moving ahead in onboarding as well. Like see, Accenture has did 1,500 employees through this metaverse platform. So like that, see, every company is moving it in a different shape altogether. Thanks to COVID, it's not very thankful, but most of the companies are moving in digitalized way, AI, IoT and all this. So the way they are working out in terms of, see, suddenly something happens tomorrow, so how you will take care of those things? So we need to prepare ourselves to go into the next level of digitalization. So the company has to be ready for it. It is not that suddenly something happened, then we need to look for what is the alternative for it. At the same time, taking the senior recruitment guys or senior professionals into the organization, we need to go in a different way altogether. It is not again 3 rounds or 4 rounds like CEO and all that. Putting it in a different way altogether, saying that this is the way that we want to do. What is that we are looking at? So it makes more impact. That is what I saw your presentation. I'm very thankful to you to give more insights in that action. So in this way, that metaverse will really help PA in a very big way in the long term.
Thank you, Suresh. Accenture will have close to 3 minutes to think about interesting questions that you want to ask. Before I ask my question on, I think you were very passionate when you spoke about onboarding using AI. Maybe I would want you to spend a minute or so and talk about how did you do that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. See, we just started months ago this because we have seen the fruits of the earlier one, so therefore we wanted to experiment on the other one. So now what is happening, what the results that we are experiencing is that now everybody knows after a great resignation period is over, and it has also affected us. A lot of people, they take offer letters and sometimes they don't even turn up again. And we know there are people who hold 3 to 4 offer letters and the last minute they ditch us. So that everybody, I think most of us would experience this particular thing. Now, this process is helping us to, it's a pre-onboarding as well as an onboarding experience. So now what we are doing is that we are experimenting with a pre-onboarding process. Now, this is engaging the particular person completely for the next 3 months period, because it's a notice period of 3 months for us especially. So it's engaging. Like, what it says, maybe suddenly what's happening in Hetero, then it projects the kind of events, the kind of activities. If nothing is happening, we'll say simply, Hetero requests you or Hetero challenges you to do a plant, just plant one plant. Wow. So that means somehow it is kept on reminding him, you are part of Hetero group, you are not still away, you are already into the group. So that's how this engagement is making the people to have interest towards our company, because I'm not sure if the same competitor company also is doing the same, but this is giving us results.
I think you added the nature element to the technology, which is one of the best. I have not seen. I think we should have a big round of applause for this. So it's basically, before somebody joins, you're asking that person to kind of plant a tree, and then you have a tree before you join, or a plant for the rest. So I think we are good to take questions from the panelists. So if you guys want to ask, I think we'll send one of the mics. So if anything comes on metaverse, I think we'll also take your advice. So the first question is always tougher, but let me do my friend Sandhya. Sandhya, you have spoken about predictive, prescriptive and all that. Data is in center of everything, right? Is there a decision that you have made which using technology or something like that, and then we felt that that really changed the way things would happen. Any examples that in talent acquisition we've done, specifically on data versus data way of looking at decision? Thank you.
Perfect. Absolutely. While I already quoted this, we are actually looking on a data mine and we are looking at the traits, and that's what I quoted. We have already analyzed what are the traits that are actually fitting into our organization, which actually becomes successful. And this we have analyzed also on the attrition that is happening within the company. Because even during the COVID, there has been probably due to various reasons, people have not been meeting each other, and there was a lot of pressure. So we've analyzed all that, and of course come up with what should be the traits that will be suitable for the organization, and then what is that we should be looking for in the talent acquisition. And that's where we come from, looking at analyzing the data, not only the candidates, the employees, the future employees, and also the current employees. And what is the culturally right fit for the organization? That's where we've arrived at a few characteristics, and that's what we look into, apart from the technical skills. Because we strongly believe that one person is coming in the organization, is accepting us, and we are also accepting, working towards one goal of the organization. So it has to be that we should be aligned with the goal even before coming in, and that's where we believe, strongly believe, and that's where we're working.
Thank you. Any questions from the audience, please? Okay, can we have the mic, please? You can say your name and then maybe the question.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Titli from as a diversity team of Sage IT Consulting World. The question that I have about metaverse, it's the current reshaping connection with digital and physical world. When we are speaking about metaverse, it's like we're making sure we're reducing the human interaction and putting them across a platform. It could be a 2D, 3D, and 5D. So my question here is, what about the infrastructural growth? That means we no longer need an office to come and work, since we will already have a virtual partners in across, helping, assisting the robots. And what about this huge infrastructural growth that we are focusing on? Do you think such kind of virtual engagement will reduce the connectivity and the social relationship that we have as on social platform, meeting your colleagues, having a good chat or sitting over for a coffee, do you think such interactions would be reduced? Thank you.
Primarily, I think one of the reasons why, good question, primary reason why I think this was created was because the interactions were not happening. So interactions were not happening, so let's make the digital kind of interactions, right? Yes, this will continue, this is evolving space, there is no right or wrong answer. But this is definitely going to a direction where a lot of those people who are not really interacting, for them this becomes a boom. And slowly but steadily, I think, okay, give me an example, right? So on a particular day, you are sitting in Hyderabad and you are visiting a college and you're doing a lecture. Same day somebody else calls you in Pune for a lecture. You would not want to use the opportunity of metaverse, obviously, right? So that's the power of metaverse. Power of metaverse is not here to kind of kill the interactions. I think, in my view, it will actually elevate the interactions, right? Coming to the physical infrastructure that you mentioned, COVID has given the example, right? So now some governments have said we are okay for work from home, right? So I don't think so. We have an answer for how infrastructure can be sustained, but metaverse, one of the applications is to also add physical interaction through metaverse. maybe I can
If I
add.
can add to that, if you would have known about this hot seating while is now getting popular in India because of pandemic, this was already, I think, propagated by IBM way back in 2004 and 2005. They actually thought about it, and hot seating was already available because they were looking at the infrastructure, whether we can support the kind of hiring that we are doing in the area. This was already propagated then, and there were a few opportunities within a few companies where there were always work from home. It was always work from home. But then what is the connect? And that's why the companies are now again calling them back, because I strongly believe in human touch. Okay? And that will not stop me from learning something new. So we should not be stopping ourselves from upgrading ourselves, but not leaving what we are doing. So and thank you for asking so many questions in one question, which will make us think. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
But absolutely, we should keep learning metaverse or data or whatever beta or whatever is going to come. We're definitely going to accept the technology and upskill ourselves. But then yes, there will always be coffee meetings, and that's why the hybrid model is now encouraged, because the connection is lost between the employees if they don't come back. The belongingness is not there. And that's why companies are now encouraging at least one day work from home, because you go back to the place where you work, you meet, and the belongingness is there. That will draw the employees.
Yeah, I think Krish has at least raised his hand twice that we are overshooting our time. If we can restrict to the last question, yeah, thank you.
Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen here. I want to ask one different question. People, since you are talking about a virtual world, many of you are from different companies, so would you be looking at 2023 to hire more physically challenged, abled professionals into your companies?
Let me take that. Yeah.
So that's a good
Disabled, but any kind of disability. Right? There was about, I think, 6 years ago, visually challenged people can actually, wear certain glasses and could actually feel how it makes them see. Now, today morning I saw another video where there are glasses. You can put a small, equipment like this, and it's speech enabled. So you can actually ask what is lying before me. So that particular equipment will analyze and tell you there's a water bottle, and you can actually pick up and drink. So it's not only about that kind of disability, but any other disability I think will be most welcome, and it makes it a lot more easier as well with technology and with metaverse, with people with different types of disabilities actually feeling belonged to the society.
I think the short answer is the future will belong to the knowledge economy. If a person brings that knowledge, I think technology will enable it, right? And companies would be more than happy to do that. Because there's great interactions. We could have gone more, maybe around 5 minutes, but I think Krish will dash me up for that. Thanks for the audience. I think you guys were very patient in listening. I promise that all of these guys are available post this session. If you guys want to ask any questions, please go ahead and feel free to ask. Thank you again, and thanks for IKON for this opportunity for us. Thank you very much.
My beloved Guru, Mr. Ramchandra Bhattara sir, to come on to the stage, along with Sri Hariprasad Panda and our beloved young dynamic leader who is present today, Mr. Sandeep Kumar Magtala, who is the Global CEO and President for TITA. So with whose support today we were able to establish this function and the complete conclave to be successful. The man behind this, Mr. Sandeep Magtala. So please, all three of you to please come on to the stage and felicitate all our speakers and the panelists today. I request mementos, please. I first of all request Mr. Hariprasad Panda and Sandeep Magthala, the Global President of TITA, To felicitate our widowed guru, Mr. Ramchandra Mandala, with a small memento. To hand over a small token of memento to our Haraprasad Patana, President, Capsule Services Limited. This is an award that goes to him. He is an emerging and young dynamic leader of India. Thank you so much. Talent Officer, Dun & Bradstreet, with an award called HR Chanakya. It's the rarest of the rarest award at ITTV. Okay, here we have given one award for HR Chanakya to one for HR professional. And the speakers for past 2 weeks he is behind all the panels. Okay, preparing questions, giving them guidance and all. So we need such young leaders in the HR fraternity. Thanks a lot, Vishwanath, for coming all the way from Bangalore to listen. Okay. Now I request our guests to felicitate Mr. Sridhar Gangadhari, the DGM HR of Big Basket, with the HR Champion of the Year award. Sridhar Gangadhari. We took a small break after this panel discussion. He'll come back. I request the next panelist and speaker today, Mr. Suresh Chetlapu, the Global Recruitment Head, Critical River Technologies Private Limited. The award goes to Talent Acquisition Strategist of the Year. The next award goes to Dr. Hetero Labs. He is also the chairman for ISTD. The award's name is HR Champion of the Year. I again recall Mr. Sridhar Gangadhari. Okay. Mr. Sridhar Gangadhari, the DGM HR Leader of the Year award goes to Mr. Sridhar Gangadhari. Thanks a lot for the wonderful session, sir, today. And we have Mrs. Sandhya Rao Annapindi, a Senior Director, Head of Talent Acquisition, NTT Data Business Solutions. Howard's name is Talent Acquisition Leader of the Year. We also request Kiran Aidi, Director People and Culture from K Fintech, okay, to receive this award. HR Leader of the Year award goes to Kiran Aidi. Health and Lifestyle. He is the head HR of Apollo Health and Lifestyle, and Mr. Devi Prasad Das. We request Devi Prasad Das to please come and give his speech or presentation on growth mindset, leadership traits and growth mindset. Thank you so much, sir.
Mindset is to learn, grow and do good. In growth mindset, every moment is a learning moment. And growth mindset comes with very simple fundamental of 3 C's. That's it, very simple. First one is about courage. Second thing is about curiosity. And the third one is about collaboration. So when I talk about courage, courage is about trying new things, testing new things, courage to experiment, right? And having agile goals. How about curiosity? Child likes beginner mind. A child has a lot of curiosity than what we adult that we don't have, right? It is more about when people are curious, they have the best, and curiosity comes alive to know it all, to want it all. And collaboration is all about learning with and learning from others. And when that happens, it creates synergy in the organization. And synergy creates symphony at the workplace. Symphony of ideas, symphony of creativity, symphony of results, and everything multiplies exponentially. So let me tell you a short story, what I want to mean by growth mindset. I'm sure all of you like to hear stories, right? Yeah? I want some participation. Do you want? Super. I need that energy so that I can be energetic. A father and son were traveling in a train. Boy was 24 years old. The boy was really excited and was looking out of the window. Suddenly he shouted, "Dad, Dad, Dad, the trees are running behind us." And after 2 minutes again, "Dad, Dad, Dad, the clouds are going with us." A couple was sitting next to them. They were observing the childish behavior of the kid who is around 24 years of age. They asked his father, "Is your child alright? Why don't you consult a doctor?" His father smiled and said, "They cannot listen for long." What is the primary task of a leader? It says bringing clarity of purpose. Now, why do I say this? We often hear people saying that, "काश मेरे पास अच्छा नौकरी होता, काश मेरा बॉस अच्छा होता, काश मेरे पास अच्छा गाड़ी होता, काश मेरे पास अच्छा बंगला होता." That kash is actually, you know what? K stands for knowledge, A stands for attitude, S stands for skill, and H is for honesty and humbleness. If we have this kash, then we can achieve that kash. So it all depends on us what kind of kash we are talking about. And I'll tell you an interesting anecdote here. A patient went to a doctor and said, "Doctor, doctor, मेरा body में हर जगह pain हो रहा है. You touch my head, it's paining. You touch my hand, it's paining. You touch my leg, it's paining." Doctor examined and said, "The pain is not in your body, it's in your finger because you have a fractured finger." So we need to identify the pain point in an organization. Where is the pain point coming from? If you are able to identify the pain point in an organization, then definitely we will have remedy and solutions for that. Now, this is a beautiful thing about the priority pyramid. So all of your eyes should be on the screen, please. This is interesting. Research says 40% of our time, we spend on unhealthy eating habits, watching TV, gossips, arguments. 30% on low value per hour, which is maintenance and administrative work. 20% on high value per hour is professional education performance, and 10% is on health, relationship, personal growth. The clarity pyramid shows 40% should have been on personal growth, relationship, health, vis-a-vis others in other order, which is 30% in personal education, 20% in maintenance and administrative work, and 10% in unhealthy eating habits, watching TV, and excess gossip and arguments. So, what do we mean by lead here? We are talking about the key attributes to lead, in an organization or as an individual. What are the key attributes? So, what I'm referring to lead here is learning, enhancement, advancement, and direction. I'm coming to a TA conclave. I'm showing a picture of a balloon. I hope you don't take it otherwise. So let me tell you a short story behind it. So there was a man who was setting a balloon at a fair, and he had all different colors of balloon: red, black, blue, green, yellow, you name it, he had it. And whenever the business used to go slow, he used to release one helium-filled balloon and leave it to the air or to the sky. So one day, he felt somebody was tagging his jacket, saying that, Uncle, if you release the black balloon, will it also fly high?" Looking at his curiosity, he released the black balloon. And after 5 minutes, again the boy came, was saying, playing near the sand, seashore. Uncle, if you release the red balloon, will it also fly high?" Again, by seeing the curiosity of the boy, he again released the balloon. By looking at his curiosity and his concern, the balloon person told him, "Son, it is not the color of the balloon. It is what is inside it makes you go up." So ladies and gentlemen, what is inside it makes us goes up is our attitude. So attitude plays a big role in our life. It's our attitude, not the aptitude, that is going to determine our altitude. I'm going a little fast because I have been told I have a very limited time because time constraint. So I'm going a little fast than the scheduled time. The next one is about a flight. So what I'm trying to connote or denote here, let me tell you a short story. 2 monks were traveling on a flight from Germany to Munich on Lufthansa Airlines. And when the flight was about to land, there was sudden turbulence and the wheels did not come out of the flight. It was a massive disaster. Everybody started in the passengers praying, howling, screaming, crying, saying that, oh God, please save us. There was a little girl who was sitting outside the window. She was reading her book, smiling a bit, playing with her hands, playing with her legs, and was on her own. Luckily, the plane landed safely. Everybody started, passengers shouting, hooray, we have reached safely. Thank you, God. Thank you, pilot. There was one person who was sitting next to this little girl. He said, when everyone was panicking, how are you smiling? How did you keep your cool? Were you not scared? No, uncle. The answer is very simple. The pilot of this flight is my father and he wants me to leave more than anybody else in this flight. So having the faith in someone is extremely important in life. And it is said in Hindi, जो पत्थर चोट खाकर टूट जाता है वो कंकर बन जाता है. जो पत्थर चोट खाकर टूट जाता है वो कंकर बन जाता है. जो पत्थर चोट खाकर सह जाता है वो शंकर बन जाता है. Oh, lovely. Another one. What I'm trying to connote here, denote here, whatever you can call it. Okay, let me tell you a short story again. A young Scot boy, Andrew Carnegie, came to America and started doing odd jobs. And he ended up as one of the largest steel manufacturers in the United States of America. Someone asked Mr. Carnegie how he used to deal with people. Carnegie replied, very tons and tons of dirt to get an ounce of gold. But when you go looking, you don't go looking for the dirt, you go looking for the gold. So what I'm trying to tell you is the focus that is extremely important, in a corporate environment when we do our job. And what do we mean by focus here is follow one course until success. Alright, this is going to be the last lead from the first slide, key attributes, lead slide, last one. Interesting thing, do you have a problem in life? If the answer is no, then why worry? Do you have a problem in life? If the answer is yes, can you do something about it? If the answer is no, then why worry? Do you have a problem in life? If the answer is yes, can you do something about it? If the answer is yes, then why worry? So worry is not going to help us when you are trying to face challenges in our life. So let me tell you a short story on this. I'm talking about a cricket match, an Indian cricketer who was first picked up for the Indian side in 1987. He was picked up for the Pakistan tour. In the first test match, he scored 0. Second, 12 runs. Third, he was dropped. And we're talking about the greatest player in the world cricket and how he handles adversity. Yes, I'm talking about Sachin Ramesh Tendulkar, Sare Jahan se acha Hindustan hamara. On the other end, when he came to batting, India was tottering at 22 for 4 and Sidhu was there on the screen and he walked into bat at 25 for 5. And that's the time Walker Yunis, as you all know, I'm sure a lot of you have played cricket or watched cricket. Walker Yunis was one of the fastest bowlers of Pakistan at that point of time. And he used to bowl at a pace of 160 km to 170 km per hour. And luckily the first ball went to the keeper and the second ball hit Sachin's nose. And it was blood gushing all across. He was groaning. Then suddenly Dr. Ali came with a pack of ice pack saying that he's trying to give him some medical treatment. Then he started pushing him. मैं खेलेगा, मुझे टेस्ट मैच जिताना है और ये मैच ड्रॉ कराना है. So what I'm trying to tell you is at the end of the day, the result was Sidhu scored 97 runs and Sachin 67 and not a single wicket fell that day and the test ended as a draw. So 4 lines for Sachin. हर पर्वत पर मणि मानिक नहीं होते, हर हाथी के माथे पर मुक्ता मुखी नहीं होते, हर जंगल में चंदन के पेड़ नहीं होते और हर देश में तेंदुलकर जैसे खिलाड़ी नहीं होते. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about the hallmark of a champion. A champion has a tenacity, a champion has a dream, a champion has a desire, a champion has a dedication, a champion has a determination, and a champion has all the attributes to take it to the next level. I'm talking about determination. Sachin had that determination to make it to where he took it. Alright, now I'm coming to the second part of my presentation, which is about what are the key attributes for organizational success, right? Talent acquisition. Oh, I came to the topic that you have been talking since now from last 1-2 hours, right? I took little time, but I'm trying to catch you up with all. So what is talent acquisition all about? What is talent acquisition? What is the fundamental the organization has to do when it is about talent acquisition, talent development? Well, according to me, it is about resource the best, retain the best, reward the best, and refine them to be the best. That's how it is. So how do you go about it? Statistics says, I did also a little bit of research before coming for this meeting because I was sure that a lot of intellect people are here and I need to also sound and look intellect. So I did some research. According to PwC report on the future of recruiting, 72% need to understand the work culture before accepting the offer. Please look at the ratios. 56% say that they would discourage others from applying due to bad recruiting. We spoke about AI, metaverse and all that. I'm not getting to at this point of time. I'll get into it a little later. According to LinkedIn, the future of recruiting since the onset of COVID-19, internal mobility has increased nearly 20% year on year. And 1 out of 2 talent professionals expect that recruiting budget will decrease. This is serious. 70% of talent acquisition professionals say virtual recruiting will become the new standard. What sir was explaining today. So, what is that is required for TA? From an arts standpoint, I'm not talking about the science. 5 C's, simple. Life is very simple with 5 C's. I'm going to make your life everyone easier here. One is about the kind of connect that we build. That is extremely important. Second is the clarity that we provide. Third is the communication. Fourth is the commitment, and fifth is the capability. So if you have these 5 C's, talent acquisition is easy, trust me. You can implement it and you'll see it is going to be a sheer success at wherever you work, whatever you deliver. And when you talk about talent acquisition, interesting is, I'm going to talk about a framework which is A square and R cube. It talks about A is for acquisition, A is for activation, the second A, the first R stands for revenue, the second R stands for reference, and the third R stands for retention. Any organization is always look at both these sides. One is the people side, and other is the revenue, EBITDA, gross margin, all that. So how do we balance and ensure that we are able to spot the right talent, bring the right talent into the organization, provide them a career, and have a framework? Because when I talk about framework, if you talk about talent development is all about how to take care of your employees. Oh, I use the word care. Did you mark it? So what I'm trying to tell about care here? Care is about having a framework. C stands for career. A is for advancement. R is for recognition, and E is for enrichment. So if your organization or our organization has a framework which takes care of this care, and how do we take care of care? When there is a continuous talk with the employee, and it is all about what you say, say, stay, and strive. These are the 3 things that matters the most when you talk about talent engagement. And remember one thing which I would like to frame here in the next slide is, it helps not only in building the talent pipeline. Talent pipeline is one side of the one is, first is how do you spot the talent? If I'm from healthcare, let me give you statistics real life. Today India, I'm not talking about an organization level, we have 1.96 nurses per 1,000 population. WHO says we need minimum 3 nurses per 1,000 population. So today there is already a supply and demand ratio problem going on. And other way, we are also responsible for ensuring that we need to get the best of talent in the organization. How do I say this? In most of the industries, you may have a service recovery. You go to a restaurant, you don't like the food, you can tell the waiter or chef, "Bhai, khana change kar do." You go to a shop, you say that I don't like my shirt, kharab hai, change kar do. In healthcare, you can't do that. You can't tell a patient sorry. It's all over them. The nurse has to be skilled. The doctor has to be skilled. They need to take care of them. How do we take care of them? Not only the technical skill, but also with the tender loving care approach. We call it as the TLC. And how it can be done? With the help of excellence, expertise, and empathy. The next one I'm going to talk about is stakeholder management. They say that if stakeholders manage karna hai na, unko reach karo. All these people have this habit of saying, reach out to your stakeholder. Why don't you reach out? Why don't you talk to them? You can brainstorm with them. Let me tell you this, what is reach is what I infer. R is for resilience. E is for empathy. A is for authenticity. C is for courage. And H is for humanity. So that is the reach that they talk about. So what they say is, if you have all these qualities, then you can do the stakeholder management absolutely fantastic. And when you connect it to the TA side, we talk about the internal and external stakeholders. One is the prospective candidates and the one that you have at your organization. And other thing is about the kind of feedback that we provide, the kind of relationship management that we do, and the long-term win-win attitude that we have. The next one I'm going to talk about is customer centricity. Now let me tell you a short story on this. In the days when ice cream sundae used to cost maybe 50 cents in UK, a little boy went to one of the shop. I have 5 more minutes, Krish? I have? Okay. So he went to a shop and he said, how much does the ice cream sundae cost? He said 50 cents. The waiter came, what do you want to tell me? No, how much will the chocolate ice cream cost? It will cost 45 cents. And people are waiting outside the restaurant and the waitress was getting a little jittery. She was saying, could you please tell me what you want to order? Because people are already waiting, I am in a hurry. Then how much will the plain vanilla ice cream cost? Oh, it is 35 cents. Okay, can you please get me that? And the waitress came and she gave the ice cream to the little boy. And while leaving, the boy left a tip of 15 cents along with a note, thank you for serving with ice cream. The waiter was trying to react or to treat the customer in a very different way. But what the little boy did is, he ensured that he touched her heart. It is not about the tips, it shows how you care for your customer, right? And being in healthcare, I can say, when patients comes to us, they come to us with a lot of pain. But when they walk out, we ensure that they walk out with pleasure. So the transition from pain to pleasure takes a lot of effort. Now I'm going to decode the insights from what I spoke about attribution to lead, to attribution to organization, and then connecting into the decoding to the TA space. 90.3 millennials said that they have different values and motivations. That means only 10% said they align with the existing of the same generation that is working in the organization. 64% of them said that the age group tends to leave faster than the organizations they leave. That is an alarming number. 20% of them wants promotions if it would not negatively impact their personal lives, or if they want it every year. 60% of the companies said that they don't have an official mentoring program to manage this group. All right, this is one of my main slides which I wanted to ask and reflect each one of you. I'm not sure whether you're going to see this. Who are we without a business card is what I'm written here. The slide talks, who are we without a business card? And this is a blank business card. Think for a moment you don't have a business card. I don't have a tag, let's say. Who are we without the tags? Think for a moment. Sorry? Human being. Can you have a big round of applause for it? Super. We are human beings. Absolutely. How do you ensure that you have created your own tag, your own business card, your own personality? How do you go about it? Lord Buddha once said, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. One must have a strategic vision in life where one wants to head. And that is only possible when you not only focus on the employer brand, but also on your own personal brand. Because that is complementary. And why I am saying this? Because when you're interacting with the candidate, interesting thing is that 71% employers say employer reputation is more important than brand. So if the employer is brand, the person who is going to interact also has to have a reputation in the market. How do I deal with them? How do I handle them? What kind of experience I'm going to give to the candidates? So Gene Collins once said, good vision without great people is irrelevant. A company may have a great vision, but if we don't have great people, then it doesn't make any sense. As it is said, a horse without the hoof nails can only jump, it can't gallop.
To felicitate Mr. IPS, our chief guest. Felicitate Srinivas, our chief guest today. It's not okay. Sir.